countries are so failed. So let's start with that. Look at the individual income tax rates that we want to keep where they are. We'd like to make them lower, but we surely don't want them to go up as the other side of the aisle wants to do. If you allowed these tax cuts to expire, which a no vote today would ensure, if you had those tax rates expire, it's not the millionaires and the billionaires that they keep talking about. It's 95% of all families in America would see their taxes go up. 95%. Now, unless you're making $70,000 a year and you think you're a billionaire, your taxes are going to go up. You make $50,000 a year, your taxes would go up. The alternative minimum tax comes back. A lot of people don't know what that is because we got rid of it in 2017. Every member of the Democrat Party voted no because they don't want those taxes to go away. But we luckily got the votes without them and passed it, which for the middle class of this country was a kick to the gut. And we got rid of that. That would come back 100%. And all of those people in the middle class would see a massive tax hike. Think about your small businesses. People love coming here talking about small businesses. And we ought to be doing everything we can to help the creation of more small businesses and to help the growth of our existing small businesses. But what happens if you vote no on this bill, Mr. Speaker? If you vote no, what's called 199A, it's a tax provision that very few people might be able to explain if they are told to explain it. But let me tell you what it is. 199A that would expire, that we keep going in this bill, is the equalizer for small businesses to be able to compete on the same level playing field as a large business, a massive multinational corporation. The massive multinational corporations already have their tax rates set at 21%. But your small business down the street, the mom and pop store, the business that's hiring 3 people, that's allowing that person to maybe be the next bill, but they're not there today. They might want to get there. But if 199A goes away, all of a sudden that small business, every small business in America, goes from paying 21% equivalent to almost 43%. So now your small businesses will get crushed, Mr. Speaker, because they won't be able to compete with the big multinational corporations. I don't know why the Democrats who oppose this bill want multinational corporations to get a 2 times advantage over every small business in America. But that's what a no vote means. You can hide behind billionaires all day long. The billionaires will benefit from that. We want to allow those small businesses to keep thriving. Yes, maybe some of them will become billionaires, and I'm not going to attack them if they do. We ought to celebrate if they do. Some of them actually don't make it. A lot of them won't make it if this bill fails, Mr. Speaker. So we protect that as well so they can have their shot at the American dream. So the single mom who's maybe never had a family that was able to afford their own house can go own their own business and one day buy their own house and maybe get a nice car, maybe get the nice things in life. They don't have that opportunity if this bill fails. That's what's at stake. We do a lot of other things that we will open up the door to go do in reconciliation by passing this bill. We secure America's border. Now, again, this was a major issue in the campaign, and I know the folks on the other side want an open border. Thank God President Trump won and followed through on his promise to secure the border. We now have a 95% reduction in illegal crossings at our border. But that doesn't solve all the problem, Mr. Speaker. President Trump wants to continue to give our Border Patrol agents the tools they need to do their job effectively. Why the previous administration denied them these tools, we can all debate. But the voters of this country made a decision in November, and they said, we don't want our Border Patrol agents to be at a disadvantage with the drug cartels in Mexico, which they are. Drug cartels have better technology today than America's Border Patrol agents. That's a disgrace. You can see drones, you can see night vision goggles, not with our Border Patrol agents. You know who's got them? The Mexican drug cartels. And our Border Patrol agents who risk their lives to keep our families safe don't have that same ability. Shame on anybody who wants to deny them that ability to have at minimum the same technology, if not more and better, than the drug cartels. We give them better technology in this bill. We also do something, Mr. Speaker, that we used to all agree on in this chamber. And now, unfortunately, it's become a partisan issue. But we still believe in strengthening America's defense. Believe it or not, the bad guys are still out there. There's not necessarily more of them, but it's the same people who have been bad for generations. And if we sit back and stay complacent and don't keep up, go look at China's military right now, how much they're advancing their naval fleet, that we're not. We can look at all the other countries, Iran, Russia. Those who still intend bad things on our friends. But one day they want to have those bad things of us too, Mr. Speaker. Right. And how do you stop it? By having a strong national defense. We bolster our national defense in this bill. Why does President Trump call it one big beautiful bill? Because it does a lot of critically important things all in one bill that help get this country back on a strong footing. And what else it does is it produces incredibly needed savings, Mr. Speaker. Savings that the American taxpayers want as well. They want their tax dollars being spent better. They want to see this Congress find a way to get back to balanced federal budgets.
The bank, and you believe in these.
And why don't we all work together to do that? We're here working together to do that. Unfortunately, the other side of the aisle doesn't want to achieve that. They want to vote against any attempt to save money. They criticize DOGE when they identify hundreds of billions of dollars of tax dollars being wasted in foreign countries, here on American soil, wasted. And people that work 2 and 3 jobs, working their tails off to help provide for their family, are incensed when they hear about this waste. And they say, when's somebody going to do something about it? Well, President Trump said, I'm going to do something about it. He actually campaigned on that too, Mr. Speaker. He said what he would do. He's doing it. There should be a parade applauding a president who actually ran on saying, I'm going to do things, and then he's actually following through on the promises.
Hello, people.
The other side can still be upset they lost the election, and they'll keep losing elections as long as they stay in denial about what this country wants. But this country, the American people, 77 million of them went to the polls and said, these are the things we want our president to do, and their president they voted for is doing those things. But he needs help from this Congress to continue to follow through on that. That's what passing this bill today does. It starts that process. More time to debate every one of these items I talked about. And the people that are against all the things I laid out, they can still talk about why they're against them. They can make up fake boogeymen. Oh, it's the billionaires. It's this. It's disabled people are going to lose benefits. You know what we do? We strengthen benefits for those people that are truly needed, Mr. Speaker, because so many of these programs that once used to be so great and talked about and lofty have been abused. How many illegals here, people in this country illegally, are on some of these programs that are going bust? Yes, they're going bankrupt. Those aren't my numbers. You can go look at Biden's own actuaries on those programs. Biden's actuaries said those programs are going bankrupt.
And you stand here.
And the other side just wants to demagogue and say, leave them alone, leave them be. Let them go bankrupt would be irresponsible.
I don't blame you, Go.
And if we can make them work better for the people actually here in America who pay into those programs, who've earned those programs, or who had something bad happen in their life where they have to be on one of those programs, instead of people who are stealing from those programs. The waste, fraud, and abuse alone. Government agencies have given reports on $60 billion a year in waste just in Medicaid. Waste. And they want that waste to continue on the other side. That's what a no vote gets you, is allowing the $60 billion a year in waste in Medicaid and fraud in Medicaid to continue. That's the theft of hardworking taxpayers' money.
Unbelievable.
That's taking health care away from the disabled who need it. Let's actually get back to having these programs work for the people who funded them, who paid into them, who deserve to be on them, who need to be on them. That's what we do with this bill. So let the other side keep demagoguing and keep making up stories, false stories and personality fights with a person they don't like who won an election and they're still angry about that result. And look in the mirror and maybe one day say,
what
why?
is this about?
Why did all those people, 77 million of them, go to the
About the
polls
president, don't
and say,
write
we want
Americans
President Trump to
talk
be
about
in the
it.
White House to go do those things he said he would do, and he's doing them. Let's help him do it. Everybody should be supporting this. But whoever's not,
who hate him,
they can still try to be roadblocks. We're going to keep moving forward, Mr. Speaker, because the future direction of this country demands it. The people of this country demand that we keep moving forward and fixing the problems that are holding them back and holding more greatness for this country back. I urge everybody to vote no, but anybody who doesn't want to vote no, understand what you are blocking. Understand what you're voting no on. And the rest of us are going to keep going to work for those hardworking people who are tired of struggling, Mr. Speaker. They're tired of waiting for the right kind of things to happen in Washington. We can finally make those right things happen. We do it by voting for this bill. Urge approval of the bill, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Texas Reserve. Gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Unbelievable.
Mr. Speaker, the majority leader just said something absolutely remarkable. He said that there should be a parade for President Trump. Well, I have very good news for him. There is going to be a parade for President Trump thrown by Donald Trump in honor of himself, paid for by taxpayers to the tune of $92 million. Oh, but to the 72 million Americans watching at home and are on Medicaid, you're still going to get your Medicaid cut. With that, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Texas, distinguished member of the Budget Committee, Mr. Dog.
The gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Speaker Johnson calls our soaring national debt the #1 threat to our nation. And the Republican Senate leader says it's a ticking time bomb just before he lights the fuse with this sorry resolution that hikes the debt by $6 trillion. The Independent Commission for a Responsible Federal Budget urges us to reject, quote, unprecedented level of fiscal recklessness. Republicans borrowing trillions more so Elon and his billionaire buddies can get more.
Majority of the
already a wrecking ball to our democracy. Trump, the self-described king of debt, is king today with his schemes to spike the debt as the Musk-Doge charade wrecks public services, and Trump's beautiful tariff wrecks our economy and heads us straight toward a recession. With soaring debt, plummeting markets, and a measles outbreak, I have to give the Republicans credit for turning America red, but not the way we expected.
Unbelievable.
Pennsylvania Reserve.
I yield back.
Gentleman from Texas is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I reserve.
Wow.
Gentleman reserved. Gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I now yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Texas, a distinguished member of the Budget Committee, Ms. Escobar.
Right.
Gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Chairman, Republicans spent the last 4 years telling Americans to trust them on the economy. Donald Trump promised to lower costs for Americans on day one. Months into this administration, with Republicans in complete control, prices are up, inflation is up, joblessness is up, the stock market is all over the place, with American retirees losing trillions of dollars in just 72 hours, and a recession is looming. Let's be clear, Republicans have no plan to prioritize hardworking Americans, but they have a $7 trillion plan to help billionaires. And they will do that by cutting Medicaid and nutrition programs and exploding the national debt by $6 trillion. This budget bill makes Americans sicker and poorer, and it will make the rich richer. I urge my colleagues to have some common sense, work with Democratic colleagues. Together, we can address all of this. I will be voting no on this bill.
Gentlelady's time expired. Gentleman from Pennsylvania reserves. Gentleman from Texas is recognized.
I reserve, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman is reserved. Gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Ohio, a distinguished member of the Budget Committee, Ms. Capter.
Gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Ranking Member Boyle. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to stand against the GOP's billionaire bonanza. It cashes out precious healthcare dollars and enriches ultra-wealthy billionaires and leaves ordinary Americans to pick up the tab. My colleagues across the aisle propose to add an astounding $14 trillion more to our debt over the next decade. Why? To fund more tax cuts for billionaires. How? Speaker Johnson cuts hundreds of billions of dollars from Medicaid, a lifeline for millions of our citizens, including more 200,000 in the district I represent. Every hospital I represent sustains itself with Medicaid and Medicare. This debate isn't just about the numbers on a balance sheet. It's about the health of the American people. And how will we keep our hospitals open, our nursing homes open? How do we take care of the American people's health?
I keep wondering,
Republican resolution is
how does
totally
this-
irresponsible.
how
It's an
the-
abdication of our
these
duty
Republican
to
Party,
serve all
the
the American
billionaires
people,
and
not
millionaires,
just those at the
they
top.
get
Mr. Speaker, the top 1% of
mind
earners in this
blown.
nation control more wealth than the bottom
How did
50%. It's
people
time for economic fairness. Vote no on this bill, and I yield back.
make a little stipend? How did they come? How did they come to a stage where they
Gentleman reserve.
worship billionaires? How?
Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to my good friend from Arkansas and Chairman of the Natural Resources Committee,
I
Mr.
don't
Bruce
get it.
Westerman.
That objection?
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of the Senate amendment. The American people gave Congress a clear mandate to lower cost, reduce burdensome regulations, and unlock American resources.
Are you kidding me?
Passing the resolution before us will allow committees to thoughtfully craft and debate legislation to extend the 2017 Trump tax cuts,
The other party?
averting a $4 to $5 trillion tax increase on the American people, to use our resources to generate more revenue and to cut wasteful spending. The resolution in itself is not the solution, but it unleashes committees to put pen to paper and craft reconciliation legislation that fully delivers on the promises the President and House Republicans have made to the American people. Mr. Speaker, if we look in this beautiful chamber, I've only located one quote from our past that's displayed in here, and it's up above you, up close to the ceiling. We're getting close to celebrating the 100-year anniversary of those words that Daniel Webster spoke in 1825 when he said, "Let us develop the resources of our land, call forth its powers, build up its institutions, promote all its great ideas, and see whether or not we too in our day and generation can do something worthy to be remembered." Mr. Speaker, the House Committee on Natural Resources looks forward to taking action to develop our nation's natural resources and to do that responsibly. Resources that are known that are among our nation's greatest assets and revenue generators. This resolution starts the process to do something worthy to be remembered in our day and generation, a process to keep taxes low for working Americans, to unlock the full potential of our natural resources, and to deliver on Speaker Johnson's directive of the bill on President's desk by Memorial Day. I support it, and I urge my colleagues to do the same, and I yield back.
I reserve.
Gentleman from Texas reserves. Gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1.5 minutes to the gentleman from Virginia, the distinguished ranking member of the Ed and Workforce Committee, and also a member of the Budget Committee, Mr. Scott.
Gentleman from Virginia is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to this resolution yet again. We hear speech after speech from the other side about the deficit and debt, and here we see this resolution which increases the deficit. And let's start with some facts. Every single Democratic presidential administration since Kennedy has left for the Republican successors a better deficit situation they inherited. And every Republican president since Nixon, the administration has left for the Democrats worse deficit situation they inherited, all without exception. So here we are again, a Republican president following a Democratic president, and once again, a budget that will explode the deficit and national debt just like clockwork with their tax cuts for corporations and the top 1%. Trump's first term added over $7 trillion to the national debt, and he wants to double down and do it all over again. As a ranking member of the Committee on Education and Workforce, I'm particularly outraged that Republicans want to partially fund these tax cuts for corporations and billionaires by making cuts to education programs and child nutrition programs. And this resolution will direct them to cut Medicaid, ripping health care away from millions of Americans. There's nothing fiscally responsible about this budget. It will add to the deficit, and the resolution wants to further inflict pain on working families and the middle class. Mr. Speaker, I ask my colleagues to oppose this resolution for the damage it will do to the economy and to the deficit. Thank you. I yield back.
I reserve.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania reserves. Gentleman from Texas is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to my friend from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Mr. Dan Muser.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank my friend from Texas for his leadership. Mr. Speaker, in order for us to deliver one big, beautiful reconciliation bill, one that extends the provisions of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, reins in regulations of wasteful spending, unleashes American energy, secures the border, curbs inflation, restores American growth and competitiveness, we first must pass the budget resolution. This resolution, Mr. Speaker, is no more than a bridge to reconciliation and to the golden era of the American economy. And frankly, what that bridge is made of really makes no difference so long as we cross it. Delaying this vote is a symbolic protest, only weakens our ability to act. Every day we wait, we put our economy, our national security, and our momentum at risk. The American people voted for bold action, Mr. Speaker, and President Trump and us in Congress intend to deliver. The reconciliation process begins with this resolution. Let's not protest the bridge that gets us there. Let's cross it. Let's achieve the results the American people expect from the Republican majority. Let's pass this and deliver a new golden age in America. I yield back.
I reserve.
Gentleman from Texas reserves. Gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I now yield 1.5 minutes to the gentleman from Massachusetts, the ranking member of the Ways and Means Committee, Mr. Neal.
Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Ask permission to address the House and revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, the proposal that we're hearing from the other side is reckless and irresponsible. What they're saying is what they usually say. Let's complain about the size of the national debt, and then let's borrow the money for tax cuts to go to people at the very top. I defy anybody on this side to say right now that that's not what happened in 2017. They borrowed $2.3 trillion, gave a tax cut to the wealthiest amongst us, and then complained about Biden running up the national debt. The arithmetic doesn't work for you on this. The messaging you might remain consistent with, but what I've just said is entirely accurate. The money was borrowed in 2017. And then when you look at tax distribution tables, just take a look at who got the money. The tax cut for the person at the top was 288 times for what it was for the person making less than $50,000 a year. These are the numbers. They don't lie. The messaging that comes from the other side, you have them believe that they're on top of defending Medicare and Social Security and Medicaid. They're threatening all three with these proposals. I've not seen anything in my time like this, making massive cuts to Medicaid, closing Social Security offices, threatening Medicare, laying off veterans at veteran service offices, and then providing a tax cut to those in billionaire heaven down in the... Let's have an honest discussion between the two parties about fiscal policy.
Gentleman's time has expired. Gentleman from Pennsylvania reserves. Gentleman from Texas is recognized.
I thank the Speaker and yield 2 minutes to my good friend from the great state of Texas, fellow Budget Committee member, Mr. Chip Roy.
Gentleman from Texas is recognized for 2 minutes.
I thank my friend from Texas. I appreciate the able job that he has done in ushering through a responsible budget on the House side of the Capitol. Unfortunately, we're here debating an irresponsible budget sent over to us from the Senate. But I first, before my colleagues on the other side of the aisle applaud me for my opposition to the Senate bill, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle refuse to acknowledge any program that they don't think they can just continue to shovel money out, despite the fact it has terrible outcomes. Medicaid is debilitating the vulnerable, not helping them. We are shoveling money out to the able-bodied on the back of expansion of Obamacare. We are crippling the very program they say they want to uphold, while we allow money laundering to California, which they brag about openly, to give money to those who are here illegally and to destroy the program with an FMAP rate that is higher than the vulnerable, giving out more money than we even give to Medicare. But to my friends on this side of the aisle, when are we going to get serious about spending? The House budget actually does a job of trying to get to budget neutrality, balancing tax policy and spending policy. The Senate sent over a joke, and we're going to capitulate to the Senate, knowing full that the Senate instructions carry the day. And we're going to be sitting there in a reconciliation debate where we're going to end up on the short end of the stick, but worse, the American people are going to end up on the short end of the stick because it absolutely increases deficits. No one can deny it. Anyone wants to get in a room and come debate me with a whiteboard, show me the math. At some point, if you're in Congress, pass a math test, because the bill doesn't add up. It will destroy this country with more deficits and the inflation tax that is crippling the average American family. I will not vote for the Senate bill. I yield back.
Gentleman from Texas reserves. Gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Well done, buddy.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from California, distinguished member of the Budget Committee, Ms. Chu.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Mr. Chair, I once again rise in opposition to Republican ripoff. Let's be crystal clear about what Senate Republicans did to this budget resolution. They made a terrible bill that rips off middle-class Americans even worse. They're telling you that 2 + 2 = 0 in this budget resolution to obfuscate the truth. It will explode our national debt. It will make the Trump tax scam permanent, and it will make the devastating and inhumane cuts to life-saving services for working Americans to fund tax giveaways to corporations and the ultra-rich. Instead of standing up for their constituents, Republicans bend the knee to their wannabe emperor and his court adjusters and lackeys in the White House. The budget resolution tells us exactly who the Republicans are working for and who they want to help, and it's not the American people. It's a betrayal, and I won't stand for it.
See, if any one of you really want the truth, Chip Roy, listen to him.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania reserves. Gentleman from Texas is
man.
recognized.
I reserve, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Texas reserves.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from the Commonwealth of Kentucky, distinguished member of the Budget Committee, Mr. McGarvey.
Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized for 1 minute.
I can tell you exactly what's going on in Louisville, Kentucky right now, Mr. Speaker. Grocery prices are up and retirement savings are in chaos. Republicans could put an end to this crisis, but instead they're going to make things worse. Republicans are about to hand billionaires like Elon Musk $5.3 trillion in tax cuts, the biggest billionaire tax cut in American history.
I don't get
Pay
it.
for it. Republicans
What's
are cutting
the
health
point?
insurance for families, ripping away food from kids,
What's the
seniors,
point?
veterans,
Everything
and
is
cutting
just
public education.
in ruins at the moment. Why
All
would
while
you want to do
increasing
this?
the national debt by $5 trillion. And I don't ever want to hear a Republican complain about the debt again, because no matter how they try to cook the books,
Are you kidding me?
and believe me, they are doing that too, they cannot hide from the negative impact this budget will have. Seniors will lose health care coverage. Veterans will lose coverage for the medications they need. Kids will go hungry.
They will come
And for
blame
what?
the Democrats for it.
So Elon Musk
Yeah.
pays even less in taxes?
They have borders.
It's reckless.
We eat it all
and
up.
it's wrong. I yield back.
How you let the churches
I reserve, Mr. Speaker.
press
Gentleman from
time
Texas
down
reserves.
all the
Gentleman
way,
from Pennsylvania is
make it
recognized.
become
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Rhode Island, a distinguished member of the Budget Committee, Mr. Amo.
mostly of them.
Gentleman from Rhode Island is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, Republicans refuse to listen. They refused in February when they spiked my amendments to support Medicaid and SNAP, and they refused again today. And this is despite the pleas of Americans protesting Donald Trump and Republicans' plan to steal their health care and let kids go hungry. And also, despite the overwhelming majority crying out for everyday Americans over the whims of billionaires. Clearly, Republicans don't care about the facts or figures. So maybe they'll listen to my constituent Al. Al is a 74-year-old resident of an assisted living facility in East Providence. He is petrified of Republican cuts that will force him on the street. Al needs Medicare and Medicaid to make ends meet. Even with assistance, he lives on $120 a month, $30 a week. It's not fear-mongering to say that Republicans' plans would hurt Al to prop up billionaires. I will be voting no for the middle class, for families, for seniors, and for folks like Al. I yield back.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania, reserves.
It's unbelievable.
Gentleman from Texas.
The amount of havoc.
I reserve, Mr. Speaker.
The little guys in
Gentleman
this
from
country
Texas reserves. Gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Minnesota, distinguished member of the Budget Committee, Ms. Omar.
I don't get it.
Lady recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, this budget resolution isn't about fiscal responsibility. It's about enriching the ultra wealthy and betraying working people. It's about gutting Medicaid and SNAP so that the rich can continue to hoard more tax breaks. These cuts do not make our country stronger. They make it sicker, hungrier, and more unfair. But this time, Republicans are not even pretending to pay for it. Senate Republicans are rewriting the rules and inventing fake budget math to claim that these tax cuts will not cost us anything. In truth, they cost the American people $7 trillion in total. All of this is being done to pave the way for a Trump term built on fear, lawlessness, and vengeance. President Trump is firing public servants, slashing critical programs, and enacting chaotic tariffs that will raise costs. This chaotic administration is trying to drag us into a recession. And instead of stopping it, congressional Republicans are acting as a willing accomplices.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania, reserves.
Reserve.
I reserve, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Texas, reserves.
Mr. Speaker, I now yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Vermont, a distinguished member of the Budget Committee, Ms. Ballant.
Gentlelady from Vermont is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong opposition to the Republican budget. Let's lay out where we are. Republicans control the House, they control the Senate, they control the White House, and they could be passing legislation right now to actually lower costs for families, groceries, prescription drugs, housing. But instead, they're attacking the very programs that working people and middle-class people across this country rely on. They've proposed a budget that gives massive tax cuts to the wealthiest and to corporations. And how will they pay for it? They will pay for it by making cuts to Medicaid to the tune of $880 billion and deep cuts to SNAP benefits, food assistance to families. And on top of that, they will add to the deficit. When I vote against this Republican budget, I'll be thinking of all of the working families back home in Vermont, thinking of the families who aren't going to be able to drop their kids off at a Head Start program, thinking about the small businesses who tell me that the Trump on-again, off-again global tariffs are crushing them.
Gentlelady's time has expired.
I urge my colleagues to reject this reckless budget. I yield back.
I reserve, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania reserves. Gentleman from Texas is recognized.
I reserve, Mr. Speaker.
Reserves. Gentleman from Pennsylvania.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I now yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Washington State, a distinguished member of the Budget Committee, Ms. Jayapal.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Republican Majority Leader said, "You can be what you want in America." That's what he said. But you can't be what you want in Republicans' America. Factually, the top 1% of billionaires and millionaires in America are worth more than the 291 million Americans, 90% of the country, because we're rigging the economy against them. That's what Republicans are doing. 801 U.S. billionaires have $6 trillion of wealth, and now Republicans want to give a $4.5 trillion tax cut to the wealthiest billionaires. That's what Donald Trump said. You're rich as hell. We're going to give you more tax cuts. And on the backs of working Americans, because voting yes for this resolution is voting for a minimum of $880 billion cuts to Medicaid. That's health care taken away from 72 million Americans. That's nursing homes taken away for 5 out of 8 seniors. And that's health care taken away for 38 million kids. Vote no on this disastrous Republican resolution.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania.
I reserve.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania reserves. Gentleman from Texas.
I wonder how my colleagues justified, Mr. Speaker, the $800 billion tax break for green energy corporations, multi-billion dollar multinational green energy corporations. But I'd like to yield a minute to my friend, former Speaker of the House from the Tar Heel State, Mr. Tim Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, this is an opportunity this evening to vote for a budget resolution that extends tax relief for working families. If you want to support working families in America, vote for this. It makes permanent Trump tax cuts. It also provides security for our southern border. It unleashes American energy, and it sets the stage for generational spending reform. This is an opportunity today to move this bill forward. There's a lot of fear-mongering on the other side. As has been said before, the word Medicaid, Medicare are not in there. It's simply wrong. Medicaid is not in there. It keeps getting said, and I guess if you don't have the facts on your side, sometimes you make up facts, and that's what's happening from the other side. But the American people know, which is why they elected Donald Trump this year, and they know what a responsible budget means, and that's why we need to pass this. With that, I yield.
Reserve.
Gentleman from Texas reserves. Gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from the Commonwealth of Virginia, the distinguished senior Democrat on the Joint Economic Committee, Mr. Byer.
Gentleman from Virginia is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in strong opposition to this budget resolution, a recipe for economic disaster for our country. Americans have been clear. They want lower prices and an economy that works for them. Yet at every turn, this budget and this administration, my Republican colleagues, are doubling down on policies that raise prices, undermine our economy, and make our wealth inequality even worse. I spent much of the day with U.S. Trade Ambassador Greer, and it's clear that the administration's myth that tariffs will reshape the economy by bullying our closest allies is nothing more than a fantasy. The Trump tariffs represent the largest tax hike in American history. They've caused chaos in the markets and stripped millions from Americans' retirement plans. Consumer confidence is plummeted, reaching its lowest level in 12 years, and economists are increasingly convinced we're heading for a recession. This budget will balloon our deficits, leading to higher interest rates. It will slash critical investments and will decimate essential programs that support the people we represent. All of this to help billionaires and corporations get tax cuts they do not need and our country cannot afford. And I reserve.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania.
I reserve.
Gentleman from Texas is recognized.
I reserve.
Mr. Speaker, may I inquire as to how much time remains on both sides?
Gentleman has 3.5 minutes remaining.
Thank you. With that, Mr. Speaker.
2.5 minutes remaining. 2 minutes. I'm sorry. 2 minutes remaining.
Just to clarify, 3.5 minutes remaining on this side, 2 minutes remaining on that side.
Correct.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from New Mexico, distinguished member of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, Ms. Stansberry.
Gentlelady from New Mexico is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The amount of gaslighting in this chamber this afternoon has been absolutely stunning. Truly, as I've sat here this afternoon, because what the GOP is doing is they're putting a budget resolution that takes the worst of the House and the worst of the Senate and puts it in one big, beautiful bill that's going to blow a hole through the national debt. raising the debt ceiling by $4 trillion, cutting $1.5 trillion in vital programs, giving $7 trillion in permanent tax breaks to billionaires, and raising the debt by $37 trillion over the next 30 years. And how are they going to pay for it? On the backs of the American people. Cuts to Medicaid, food assistance, housing, school meals, clean energy, and selling your public lands. And what's the craziest thing is they said they wouldn't vote for it if it would raise the debt and the debt ceiling. And here they are. So bravo, my friends. You are blowing up the debt ceiling, and we will vote no.
Gentleman,
I reserve.
gentleman from Pennsylvania reserves. Gentleman from Texas.
Mr. Speaker, I'm prepared to close. No, I'm
Gentleman
not.
from Texas.
Mr. Speaker, I'm going to reserve, actually, at this
Reserve.
My interest right now
Mr.
is
Speaker, I now yield 30
seconds
seconds to the gentleman from Tennessee, distinguished member of the Judiciary Committee, Mr. Cohen.
Gentleman from
I'm not gonna vote
Tennessee
on
is
any one of them.
recognized for 1 minute.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry,
I'm not
30
going to vote
seconds.
on any one of them.
30 seconds is all I need. This is about the billionaires. It's not about the middle class. It's not about a budget deficit, because they wouldn't have to give the money to the billionaires if they gave it to decreasing the deficit. And this is the party that's trying to kill Social Security through the Doge boys who are cutting out services for people who use the phone to deal with their Social Security and eliminating employees from Social Security. They're trying to kill Social Security. That's who it is. And they want to help the billionaires and hurt the folks that live on Social Security. I yield back.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania reserve.
And Mr. Speaker, I'm prepared to close.
I'm prepared to close as well, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself the balance of my time. Well, I think it's been a good debate that has brought out a couple of clear facts. Even though President Trump directed House Republicans last night to, quote, close your eyes and just pass the bill, I believe the speakers on this side have opened the eyes of the American people. These are the indisputable facts. The largest cut to Medicaid in American history, in order to help pay for a tax cut, 83% of which goes to the richest 1% of Americans. Indeed, this is a big, beautiful bill for billionaires.
Period.
Vote no. I yield
Period.
back.
Gentleman
Period.
yields back. The gentleman from Texas is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself the balance of my time.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I'm obsessed with the threat of a looming debt crisis and the irreparable harm it would do on our great economy, our national security, our leadership in the world, and our children's future. We have an opportunity. It's an historic, generational opportunity to right this ship. But we have to grow the economy. We have to have pro-growth policies in place that will unleash growth and prosperity. And we've got to get serious about the first and most important job of the federal government, which is providing for the common defense. And we did that in the House bill. But what we did in the House bill that the Senate fell far short in doing is to have a balanced budget resolution, to have a commitment, enforceable spending reduction targets that would bring the debt to GDP down and put our nation on good fiscal footing and a sustainable path. And I urge my colleagues today to demand that the House budget resolution, that our fiscal framework with our budget targets guide the final reconciliation bill. Mr. Speaker, again, this may be the last best opportunity to save our country from fiscal ruin. The formula is all there in the House budget resolution. And again, I urge my colleagues to demand that is what drives the bill at the end of the day. God bless America. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I yield.
All time for debate has expired. Pursuant to House Resolution 313, the previous question is ordered. Pursuant to Clause 1C of Rule 19, further consideration of House Concurrent Resolution 14 is postponed. Pursuant to Clause 1C of Rule 19, further consideration of H.R. 1526 will now resume. The clerk will report the title.
Union Calendar number 27, H.R. 1526, a bill to amend Title 28 United States Code to limit the authority of district courts to provide injunctive relief and for other purposes.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from North Carolina seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I have a motion to recommit at the desk.
The clerk will report the motion.
Ms. Ross of North Carolina moves to recommit the bill H.R. 1526 to the Committee on the Judiciary.
Pursuant to Clause 20 or 2B of Rule 19, the previous question is ordered on the motion to recommit. The question is on the motion. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Opinion of the chair, the noes have it. Motion is not agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, I ask for the yeas and nays.
Yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. Special number having risen. The yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. Pursuant to Clause 9 of Rule 20, this 15-minute vote on the motion to recommit will be followed by 5-minute votes on passage of the bill, if ordered, concurring in the Senate amendment to House Concurrent Resolution 14, if ordered, and the motion to suspend the rules and pass H.R. 1228, if ordered. This is a 15-minute vote.
Of course, this is unfortunate. It is unfortunate because although we have a different plan today, of going about different things on this show, but it just happened that these guys are planning these votes, and we just have to make sure that we witness these together. See, it is easy for everybody to access these bills and actually open, read it if you want to, go online. All the proposals that the Senate have actually passed so that you can see for yourself. This is not a joke. And this is not, I don't know where to start, because eventually some of you will start saying, oh, I got paid by sorrow. Seriously, I will tell you one fact. If I know where sorrow is actually giving check, I will go there. I will go there and get mine. I'm being serious. Like a regular man who needs money, I'm not going to shy away from that. If I know where sorrow is actually giving away money right now, I will go there and get my check. But that doesn't mean I will come back here and actually lick ease behind when I have to speak to the truth. So I don't know where you get that idea from, because you keep saying it like somebody is paying me. It's like sorrow is paying everybody who speak against this charade that is going on right now. I'm telling you for a fact, if I know where sorrow is actually giving out a check, that to be able to speak against what is going on in the country right now, I'll be the first one there just to get my check. Are you kidding me? If anybody is going to pay me to actually speak truth to the power, so be it. So be it. I'm doing this on a free now, not getting paid to say things that you really need to hear. So I'm telling you now, for real, if I'm going to get a check somewhere from sorrow or from any of the billionaires supporting whatever you think it is, I will be the first person there to catch my check. On a more serious note, this is never about that. Most of these is just common sense. About 90% of these guys in the House that were voted in by Republicans are millionaires. Millionaires. This is what I do not understand. How do you come to a place where regular folks struggling, finding it hard to be able to make stipends, come together and say, you know what? The millionaire is going to save me. How? How do you get to that point to really believe that? Somebody swear for you guys? Like, is it really a curse? I mean, this is not what going to church should have to come to. Going to church to worship God shouldn't come to a place where you literally bound on every principle written in the Bible, and then you are now literally worshiping billionaires. Like, some of you can lay your lives down for them. I don't get it. How poor men and women do this to hurt their own interest. And you seriously, in your own dream, believe that these millionaires and billionaires care about you. How many people have they fired since getting power? How many? Regular Americans? Max? People who actually vote for this president? How many of you have been fired from your jobs? From your jobs? Telling you you are incompetent? You are fired because you are incompetent? And yet we see the epitome of incompetence written all over this administration. They call you incompetence and lay you off and let you go home. But then the actual epitome of incompetence is written boldly all over this administration. Crashing things from one place to the other, wrecking ball on the economy, introducing a tariff number that doesn't add up. And now today, he backed up. He caved because the stock market won't come back. And even at that, we saw a little sign on the stock market as if it's rising, but it hasn't started yet. Trust me. The damage is already done, and I'm telling you now, there's no fix. And not from him, at least. He will make attempt to fix it. They will really think they're fixing it, but they're not fixing it. Because until this administration and all these billionaires actually are ready to sacrifice something for the Americans, nothing is going to be normal. They will not be able to fix this. Every effort they make, every decision they make is all about them, not you. And that's what is making everything bad. That's what makes it worse. Every decision they make, every step they take, every effort they make just to, say they want to fix things. No, they're not going to fix it. They're going to make it worse because they are doing it with the motives that is wrong, which is secure their own livelihood, make sure their wealth increase, and they don't have you in mind, period. And the more they keep going through that path, the more they go through that path, the worse things gonna get. The worse things gonna get. Never you sit down there in a poor living room and think that things is just gonna get better from these billionaires or these millionaires, because they don't care. Unless they start caring, things is never gonna get right. Because the policy they are making is to shore up their wealth, to make sure that they increase their wealth. And the more they keep doing this, the more America is going down the drain. You build economic from downward up. It's not upward down. You build an economy. As a matter of fact, you build anything from the background, from the regular folks, from the regular people, from the consumers, from the average consumers. Because literally what you're asking for now here is that if the billionaire get more money, you think they will invest in you. In you? Who do you think you are? What are you going to give them? What is the return? They have no motivation to invest in you, period. You can give them all you want. You can give them all your money. You can give them all the tax return. They will not invest in you, Americans, period. Because it's all business. It's nothing personal. There is no return to an average billionaire in investing in you. And that is why it is always better for the economy to build it from the grassroots. So that when consumers are doing good, when average people are doing okay, they can buy products, they can purchase items, and the billionaires will make profit and continue to grow the economy together. But not the other way around. If you give them the money first, they're not going to help you. They're not going to invest in you. They're not going to hire you. They're not going to build any factory in America. No, it's not going to happen. Do not dream about that. The factories are gone. They're not coming back. They're not coming back. The earlier, the better you wake up from your slumber and believe this. Let me tell you briefly what they're going to do with the money when they get it. Once these billionaires get this money, okay, they will build factory, but not here. They will build it outside where they can pay cheap labor. They will build it in Bangladesh. They will build these factories in Vietnam. They will build these factories in China. They will build this factory outside the United States where they can pay cheap labor. And you're going to sit down here waiting. Right now, as we speak, they're doing everything they can to kill all the unions. The same union who can stand for you, who can fight for you, who can fight for your job and your livelihood. They're going to erase all that. And once all that is gone, oh, they got you. They got you. Fully. Nothing else is left. They got you. You think this is getting better? Look at this on Fox News. Seriously, this is Fox News. I will have to remove these for now and introduce this. I'm being serious right now. This is Fox News. Listen.
There's an item in the New York Post that we all have in front of us. It's an exclusive story, and it talks about how with these 104% tariffs that went into effect, you know, we think that China is going to have to pay for it, but it tells a story of a special needs toy importer. And when the tariffs went into effect at midnight, his tariff, he's been paying a tariff because he gets stuff from China, $26,000 a year. His tariff bill went from $26,000 at midnight to $346,000, and that's money he's going to have to come out of his pocket. It sounds like he's going to have to go ahead and close down part of his business. He tried to make the toys in the United States, but the tariff on that, his most popular item, went from $0 to $17 at midnight. And what he told the New York Post is people don't understand the tariff situation. They think just foreign countries are paying for the tariffs. That's not true. Half of the tariffs are being paid for by U.S.-based companies. Yeah.
Seriously, I'm going to let you listen to that again, okay? But let me go through this explanatory. You see, yesterday here, just yesterday, he was telling you that the foreign country will pay for the tariff. This dumb idea that he's selling for you, and you keep believing him that When they levy the tariff on China, that China is going to be the one paying for it. Are you kidding me? China don't own those business. Chinese government do not own those business. Most of those businesses is owned by maybe a Chinese indigent or an American who bought goods from China and bring it here to the United States. Common sense. Goods bought from China brought into United States. Common sense. When you brought the goods from China at the port of entry, they will ask you for custom and tariffs to be paid on goods that you are bringing in from China. And guess what? That is where those tariffs will first surface. And then you will have to pay, as the business owner, you will pay those tariffs at the port of entry to the customs and to government. The same thing happens in the other way around if somebody is taking products from the United States to China. At the port of entry in China, they will stop you and get those tariffs paid before you can bring those things in. American government is not going to pay for those tariffs that is being increased in China. Because right now, the reciprocal tariff just got a retaliation tariff. China just increased from, just add 50% on the original 34%, which makes it how much? 84% on American goods. 84% on American goods. Of course, American goods is useless inside America. Trust me, I know, because I've been there outside the country. In Asia, in Africa, in Europe, in everywhere, they are not crazy about American products. They are not. They are not. American cars, the Chevrolet, the GMC, the Ford, are only being driven by Americans. Many people in a foreign country will tell you that, look, American cars are just too hard to maintain. You know what they call Ford? Found on road dead. Found on the road dead. That's what they call Ford outside the country. They don't buy it. They rather go for Toyota and Honda and all these cars that is very, very cheap to maintain. This is why American cars struggle outside. It's not about tariffs. It has nothing to do with, it's because you guys are unable to compete with the world market. Unless you start competing well, make your car more efficient. Stop funding money to these billionaires so that your community can become cheaper. Because now, here's one example. An average Tesla costs about $80,000. Why, you may ask, when the competitor in China costs about $20,000? What is the difference? Why is the difference? Because these billionaires are competing, they're eating you up because the government let them. And now, tell me why America is paying through the nose for AI online, whereas all the AI produced in China is more or less free. Why is that? And guess what? The moment they give you this cultural war to hate on others, to hate the migrants, to hate the minority, the black, blue, and brown, and tell you that you are superior, oh my world, you're going to give in to all your life and suck up to anything they tell you. It's an easy pick. You are nothing but a prey. A token in their ability to make more money. Look at what happened to this business owner in America after the tariffs. From 20-something thousand to 346,000, he has to pay in tariff in order to be able to bring products from China. But guess what? How many products do you guys import from China? How many products do Americans import from China? Let me count. All of it. All of it. All of your products is from China. Your watch, your shoe, your ties, your suit, your shirt, your t-shirt, everything. Your phones, your gadgets. Look at Walmart. A to Z product in Walmart is from China. Are you kidding me? How do you think this is going to benefit regular Americans? How? I don't get it. Every product they sell in Walmart comes from China. Every product they sell in Tiger comes from China. In Target comes from China. Every product they sell in Lowe's, in Home Depot, everything comes from China. And so you think Walmart, Home Depot, all this company, they're going to pay all this huge amount of tax and suddenly they will not increase the price of commodity for you guys? Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. Please keep dreaming that these billionaires care about you. This is what is going to happen to you. I'll play the video again.
So when you look at the big numbers and they look good, just remember that according to this guy, half of the small businesses and half of the tariffs are being paid by Americans. Well, there's an item in the New York Post that we all have in front of us. It's an exclusive story, and it talks about how with these 104% tariffs that went into effect, that China is going to have to pay for it. But it tells a story of a special needs toy importer. And when the tariffs went into effect at midnight, his tariff, he's been paying a tariff because he gets stuff from China, $26,000 a year. His tariff bill went from $26,000 at midnight to $346,000. And that's money he's going to have to come out of his pocket. It sounds like.
I mean, you think China is going to help him pay that? No. He's going to have to pay that from his own pocket in order to get his goods out, his product out. And now he will sit down in his warehouse and think, how do I make my money back? That is why item that costs about $10 for you is going to now cost about $50 so that he can make that tariff money he paid back and also make profit. You see how difficult this is becoming for everybody that owns business in this country. Most of you believe everything he says because you don't own business. All you do is buy. But some of us do own business. We know exactly how this works. We know the math, how we make profit from everything we sell. And we keep telling you, we pay for it. And when we pay for it, we transfer that body to you, the final buyers. Common sense. I don't have to scream about this. I don't have to yell about this. It's just common sense. But it hurt so bad that people were falling for this trick every now and then. And in the next election, they will go out and still vote for these billionaires and millionaires simply because they have the same skin color like you. That is the only merit you need to vote for them. That is the only characteristic you need to vote for them. That is the only credentials you need to vote for them. The skin color. If it matches yours, you vote for them. It doesn't matter if they are sucking you dry. Like vampires. They pluck their teeth on you and suck you dry. Unbelievable, Americans. Unbelievable. Stop believing these churches because most of the churches anyway are corrupt. They are corrupt. They are corrupt. I know very little about what the Bible says, but I know quite well that the Bible mentions in the last days, the churches will go to bed with the billionaires and the government. They will go to bed with the billionaires, and they've done exactly that, and they are selling you off in the churches. They are selling you off in the churches. Oh, you think the 666 is easily recognizable by you? By you? Oh, when the Bible says the sign of the 666, you think that will be something you will detect easily? No. That's the funny part of it, because it begins right there in the churches. You won't know it when it hits you in the face. When the 666 hit you in the face, you would never see it coming. And that's exactly what is going on today in many of the churches. I'm sorry to say, but that's the dreadful fact that you hate to hear. You must hear it anyway. Unfortunately, as we speak, here is what the president says today. Oh, this was last night. Okay? This was last night.
China will now pay a big number to our treasury. This is oil taxes. And
okay,
China will now pay a big number to our treasury. This is oil taxes. And don't let them keep telling you that this is a tax on our people. I hate that. You know, they say it's a tax.
Okay, but here, I will keep telling you, it is tax on you. Listen for a second. You believe this man so much up to this point, but how is it going for you? You believe everything he said, every damn thing he told you, but please tell me, how is it going for you so far? So far. Maggots crying, losing $20 million within 3 days. How is it going for you? Really? Really? Don't let them tell you that it's a tax to you. It is a tax to you. It is a hard truth that you do not want to admit because you do not want people to think you are a fool for voting for him. But it is a truth anyway. The truth is not supposed to be your friend. It's not supposed to be nice. It's not supposed to make you look good. No, it's supposed to hit you in the gut. The hard truth here that I'm saying to you that is hitting you right in the gut is no, you are paying every damn tax that he levied on China. China is not going to pay for it. I mean, okay, guess what? How much did Mexico pay for the wall? Did you worry about that? How much exactly did Mexico pay for the wall? Nothing. Zero. Nada. And this is the same ploy. It's the same tactics. It's the same logic to tell you that somebody else is going to pay for your body. But you know why he's doing that? You know why you know exactly why he's doing that? Because he's looking at you straight in the eyes and tell you all these lies because he believes you are a fool. I'm sorry to put it that way, but that is the bitter truth. He's looking straight into your eyes and tell you all these lies because he believes you are a fool. You will believe it anyway. He said it in the past. He said in the past, they just keep telling them the lies until they stop believing it. Repeat it over and over and over and over until it becomes a truth to them. That's the logic. And for the life of me, you keep giving him all and you keep falling into his trap. You keep ruining everything for you, and yet you keep coming back for more. Who does that? Exactly the same pattern during COVID. And how many Americans died? 500,000 plus on his watch. On his watch. Oh, that's additional after Biden got there. But on his watch, 500,000 Americans loses their life. That is the number accounted for. How about those numbers that Florida refused to count? And yet, did you punish him for that? No, you reward him. You reward him to come back in power. And yet you think things is going to be different from the last time? Of course, you keep, you see how the kind of God he has, the boldness he has to ask you if your life is better off than 4 years ago. You keep asking that during the election. You keep eating it up, forgetting. Are you kidding me? Like a dementia person, you forget completely what happened 4 years ago or 5 years ago now. And you gave him the power again. And you think it's going to be different? No. You just gave him a wrecking ball, and it's going to wreck all your lives. Look, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I am Trump supporter right now. I'm all for it. I am fully a Trump supporter. Because I want him to go full-fledged and punish you for what you just did. Because you voted a man because he has the same skin color like you do. Not because of merit, not because you think it's capable. No, stop saying that. Every time I hear that, I think you are giving yourself some lame excuses. Just be bold, be confident, come out openly and say you vote for him because of hate. Hate. Nothing else, nothing more. It is hate, 100%. That's why this kind of a person will be voted into power. And it continues to lie to you. Everybody now is in MSNBC, CNN, all of them now are packed up in line. In line. Of course, he's sending his goons to start defending this nonsense going on in the country. Here, what
a big question a lot of people have is how
Some
much
of the people you expect to vote for the budget, they are debating right now. This is one of the guys that will vote for it. One of the rep in the House, Lisa McClain.
turmoil do
Listen to
you
her.
expect before things start to straighten out?
Well, look, the tariffs only been in place for a little bit over a week. And I think we have to give them 30, 90 days, give them an opportunity to settle. And I think they will. We have been at a deficit, whether it be the trade deficit or the unfair tariffs, for decades. What President Trump and we're trying to do is level the playing field and fix a mess that has been here for decades. The stock market is, you can either look at it at short term or long term. I have confidence in the stock market. I have confidence in business. And we've only been here for a week.
See, everybody with sense already warned you enough. This is what you're going to keep hearing every time. Every time you raise your voice and say, oh, this is too much, give it more time. Hold on, I'm going back to the House.
The chair, the ayes have it. Gentlemen,
I'd like to
Maryland.
request the ayes and the nays.
The ayes and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote, ayes and nays will rise. Sufficient number having risen, the ayes and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.
All right, another vote to take the numbers of nays or yeas. Okay, now, going back to what I was saying. See, I lost my thought there. Okay, it is easy for you to be sold on these ideas that, that you have to wait. You have to wait. This is what they're going to keep coming back to say. Oh, it's just few days. You're going to have to wait for these tariffs to take off. Now, he just back out of it now. He just back out of it today. He just announced today that he's taking the tariff off for 90 days. Yes, he's going to keep China's tariff on because now that hurt his ego that China is fighting back. Because China did say that these tariffs is not just bad, but it's disrespectful that if they have to come up with anything, that they want him to recognize that China is a sovereignty of his own. And that hurts his ego. So he continued with China, but then he backed off. He caved on all other countries. All other 74 or 75 countries, he caved on them. But he continued with China. Why? Because China did hurt his ego by taking it to him in a fight. But this is crazy. It's not working, period. And that's why he has to back out of it. And then he's gonna go back in it, back out of it, go back in it. How much of this nonsense do you think American economy can take? How much? How much? They're sending these people out now to tell you to calm down. It needs more time. We need more time to ruin your life. We need more time to take everything away from you. Slow down. Calm down. We need more days. We're not done yet looting you.
People see the markets, the bond yields going up, interest rates going up, and all of this starting to affect people on Main Street. What's the clock like in your district when it comes to patients?
Well, the clock in our district is actually more patient than I had really expected. We're heavy manufacturing, heavy auto workers, and the lens that my constituents and the people in the state of Michigan see is finally a president that wants to bring jobs back to our state.
Michigan.
Look, at Michigan lost a seat
Already laid off many
because
auto
we
workers
lost
now,
jobs.
as we
We
speak.
lost manufacturing jobs. People were getting laid off. They are actually excited that we have a president that's trying to level the playing field. And
are you kidding me? People are getting laid off, but they are excited. Excited of what exactly? Okay, I'm done. Because I don't think I can fathom what is going on in the minds of these people. Either they are lying to you every time, or they are telling the truth, but I just don't understand what is going on with the people they are talking to. People have been laid off, but they are excited. Have you all forgot 2008? This is exactly the playbook. The playbook is like a mice. You know, a mice that eats you up when you sleep. It have a system in which it does that. The mouse is going to eat you, really eat your flesh where you sleep. They have a system where they eat you gradually and they blow it up and you won't feel a thing by the time they finish you up. That's exactly the plan here. Are you kidding me? You know, I would draw a curtain to this show here. And I strongly advise that you stop letting them take you for a ride. Letting the churches take you for a ride. Letting these politicians, these billionaires take you for a ride. Because they really have these guts to believe that Americans are fools. And I know this country have it in them. They have it in them. You want to be good. You just want to be good. And they're taking advantage of that. They're taking advantage of that, unfortunately. This is code blue in America. This is silent blue. And I will see you in the next game. I believe all Republicans is going to fall in line no matter what. They're not going to complain because they don't look like it. The man grabbed them by the ball. So his next target now is grab everybody else by the balls. Right now I'm hearing he is contemplating. This is not about saying it as a joke. He's actually trying to find loopholes in the law to actually ship Americans outside this country. I'm talking about real citizens, to ship them outside the country if they don't agree with him. If they don't agree with him. If they don't agree with him. Now, that's not going to shut me up. That's not going to shut a lot of people up. I know that. But that is how he gradually succeeded in turning this country into Russia. Congratulations, America. I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you very much for listening. Please, before you leave, follow on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. This is your show. I'll be back analyzing all these and venting all these. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again. Unbelievable country. I love this country, man.
Would you lose a them for news entertainment? Sounds pretty good to me.
News FM for the entertainment sounds pretty good to me. For news and entertainment sounds pretty good to me.